Cam Newton are both recovering from off-season surgery. Cam will not play in the Panthers' preseason game tonight, and Luck has still not practiced for the Colts. They're both also looking to rebound from last season's disappointments. Cam threw just 19 touchdowns after throwing 35 in his MVP season the year before, and Luck's Colts have missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Shannon, who's under more pressure this season, Cam or Luck?
Luck. Cam went to the won an MVP. Cam has been to the Super Bowl. He's had his team in the playoffs the past 3 years. Andrew Luck has missed the playoffs the last 2 years, and over the last 2 years, he's missed 10 of a possible 32 games. And Chuck Pagano's on a 1-year deal, Skip. This is it. General manager Ryan Grigson got fired. Andrew Luck got the most guaranteed money in NFL history by any player, $87 million guaranteed. So that's what he's up under. And remember how well it started out for him is that he had his owner, Jim Irsay, doing cartwheels. Oh, we about to be the Patriots up in this piece. He meant before Brady, because that's where they're headed. And what they've done is they didn't do – normally if you get a franchise piece like this, you better protect him. And they didn't protect him. But he's under immense pressure, given his contract situation, given his head coach situation, and given that Cam Newton has already won an MVP. He's already been to the Super Bowl. He's way up behind schedule. Because remember now, evaluators said he's the greatest quarterback prospect, Andrew Luck, since one John Elway, who played at the very school that Andrew Luck played at. So,
which is exactly why he's getting the biggest pass in the history of pro football. What happens annually, pre-draft, some experts dig in and say, this guy is it, man. He's going to be the best since Elway. And then they give him another pass, and they give him another pass, and he's their golden boy, and they're going to defend him to the NFL death because it's indefensible how poorly he's played for the first pick in the draft and the greatest thing since John Elway, because he's been nothing but a turnover machine. I didn't love Luck before the draft. I liked RG3 more, and I was proven correct just for the first year when RG3 was the Rookie of the Year and played better than Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck has turned into this turnover machine. Over his 6 years, since 2012, he's got the second most fumbles lost in the NFL, to my man Jay Cutler, and he has the 6th most interceptions. In his first year in the league, he had the 2nd most total turnovers to Mark Sanchez, Mr. Butt fumbled. In his 2014, he had the 2nd most to Jay Cutler. And last year, he was tied for 6th. And yet last year, let's just do since 2012, he has the 3rd most turnovers per game on average in the National Football League among quarterbacks. I think it's among any position. But the point is, that's not very good. And they started off 11-5, 11-5, 11-5 because that division was so bad, they just sort of fell into 11-5s. And now, over the last 2 years, he's gotten hurt. He's gotten hurt. And I said before the draft, he can be a little thick-headed. He wants to die for the cause. He'll stand in there. He'll take too much punishment. He'll hold the ball too long. And he will turn the football over. And that's been exactly his resume so far in pro football. And over the last 2 years, his starting record is 10-12, in part because he's taking more punishment than maybe any quarterback in pro football.
Right.
So then we look at Cam. I got to tell you, there's way more pressure to me on Cam because some people weren't sold on him when he came out as the #1 overall. And if you really look at his body of work, it's interesting because if you take his first 4 years and then you skip the MVP year and just take last year, you take those 5 years, his touchdowns, interceptions are on average are 20-14, and his QBR, if you just average those years, is 61, which is not very good. Last year it fell all the way to 54, which was just barely above Case Keenum and Fitzpatrick and Blake Bortles. So he had a miserable year last year after one of the all-time great years the year before. So you start to say, wow, 35 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. They went 15-1. They scored the most points in the league. Was that an aberration? I mean, you have to start asking because, remember, he started off, it was like unfortunate for him. He set his bar so high. Remember his first game ever? 422.
Yeah.
And then he turns right around and goes home and plays Aaron Rodgers and throws for 432. Wow. not since those first 2 games has he had a 400-yard passing
Right.
day. Wow. So you start saying, well, wait, who's the real guy?
Right.
The guy whose average record in the 5 years is 7-9, or the guy who went 15-1? Well, what did they do in the draft? They got him some new weapons, man. McCaffrey, Curtis Samuel, ran 4.3 out of Ohio State. And I saw a thing on ESPN.com where their beat writer predicted their breakout player would be Devin Funchess. So, okay, there's a weapon. I know Kelvin Benjamin hadn't really measured up, but Greg Olson's still there.
Well, that's the problem. He measured too much.
Well, he measured way too much.
Yeah.
Okay, but my point is, are you not expecting a bounce back year? I think the NFL is waiting for a bounce back year from the MVP.
But here's the thing, Skip. Because Pagano only has that 1 year left on his contract, Andrew Luck is not even practicing. At least Cam Newton is practicing. They said
he can't throw. They're both coming off surgery.
Well, he threw some earlier, and they didn't like what they saw.
Yep.
But here's the thing, Skip. They said there's no timetable.
Okay.
I don't like the sound of that, Skip.
Okay, but that takes pressure off.
No,
you can put the pressure on Pagano. I'm with you on that because he's going to take the fall.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You look at the NFC South. From top to bottom, they got the best quarterbacks in the NFL, top to bottom. Cam, Jameis Winston, Drew Brees, and Matt Ryan. Okay, now let's go to the AFC South. Blake Bortles. You can't beat Blake Bortles? Okay, you got Savage or you got a rookie. Or you got Marcus Mariota. And if you look at what he's had to go against, I mean, think about the quarterbacks he had to go against. Fitzpatrick, the Hoyers, the Osweilers, the T.J. Yates. I mean, look at the guys he's had to go through. Blake Bortles, Jake Locker in
Now
Tennessee.
you sound like me, but is anybody else holding his feet to the fire? Maybe it should be more pressure on Andrew Luck, but it's not.
Yeah,
I don't ever hear that's the first I've ever heard that.
Well, this is why I believe the pressure's on him, is because he's playing in a division that's very winnable. Peyton Manning won that division, 10 out of 12 years probably. And Andrew Luck got off to a great start. But now we're starting to see the injuries mount, and we're starting to see the turnovers mount where they've always mounted. But you mentioned something. You said 2 guys with the most turnovers in the last 3 to 5 seasons were, who, Skip? Over the last 5 seasons were Mark Sanchez and Jay Cutler. What do they have in common with one Colin Kaepernick? Those two are...
Well, they don't have anything in common with Colin Kaepernick because they have a job.
They're all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But 2 of the guys that had turned the ball over the most are gainfully employed, and the guy that wasn't on your list is not.
Who did not turn the ball over, who was 16 to 4 interceptions.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
But the most pressure is on Andrew Luck because the injury, he's missed 10 games skipping the last 2 years, and he's not throwing yet, and they say, well, there's no timetable. He could start on the PUP, which means he'll miss the first 6 games.
Okay, I'm
or
with
he
you,
could put
but
on...
nobody else is. But I do think the NFL world is starting to sit back and look at Cam saying, okay, show me something.
Oh, he got the weapons.
Right?
Oh, you going to
show
dump that
me.
thing up to Christian Mack? Oh,
right?
Christian Mack going to give it to him.
Okay, well, then you're predicting a bounce back?
Christian Mack. Oh, have you seen him?
Have I seen him?
Have you seen... Skip. Dude got more moves than a $100 hooker. I mean, hey, throw it. Oh, you can't tackle him in a phone booth. Don't worry. I don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
Hugh Freeze told me about that. Oh, my bad. That slipped, that Joy. That slipped.
I don't know anything about that.
That slipped. God dang it. I got to throw it. Hugh, next time, get you a throwaway phone.
You and Hugh are close, right? You talk.
No, I don't know. No, we ain't. No. He lose my number, Hugh. Calling me, they be checking me, asking me all kind of questions.
So my final point is that Cam in his MVP season had a QBR, my favorite stat, of 70. Last year in his rookie season, Dak Prescott had an 83, which fell on the last weekend on the final Sunday because they just mailed it in at Philly because they didn't need it. 83 to 70.
Can I ask you a question?
Interesting.
If Cam Newton would have had the #1 running back and 3 of the best offensive linemen in football, what would his quarterback rating be?
Well, he's had a pretty good running game in part because he's a big part of the running game.
Oh, so are you saying Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams are better running back?
Oh, but they've had a pretty good running game.
What about the offensive line?
It's been pretty good.
He had a guy that was blocking for him that starred in a movie. They made a movie about his life. You proud of that?
Well, I mean, they did score the most points in 2015, so they had a lot of weapons. They must have protected him pretty well.
I'm just saying. Skip. I mean, you talking about? I'm saying that the rookie. I'm saying as a rookie. So if you gave him the 3 best offensive linemen in football and 2 other guys, and you give him the 2nd or 3rd best back in football, because Le'Veon Bell is the best back in football. So if you gave Cam that his rookie year, you actually think his QBR would have been what it was?
Dak is much more accurate than Cam ever thought about.
I want you to tell me this. So are you saying Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Cam Newton?
He's a more efficient quarterback.
I ain't what to ask you. I ain't never talking about efficiency.
I'll take
I
it.
ain't buying an air conditioner or refrigerator. I ain't talking about efficiency.
I'm not going to put that even.
And I don't want a Tesla. I don't want no Tesla either. I don't want efficiency. We got gas guzzlers. You got a Corvette, and I got a Challenger. So we don't worry about efficiency.
When he gets to the Super Bowl this year, we'll have this conversation.
Y'all ain't going to the Super Bowl. Stop.
Y'all.
You try to talk into existence. You ain't LeVar Ball. You ain't that lucky.
I'm just stating facts over
No
here.
fact.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf joins us coming up. We'll ask him if Deshaun Watson should start as a rookie next.